Cold sores are highly contagious. If you have a cold sore, you need to be very careful. Cold sores can be spread to other people through saliva or like close contact. Things like kissing or sharing utensils, cups, forks, even straws. Towels, even lip balm or lipstick, sharing any of those things and more with someone who has a cold sore could give you a cold sore or vice versa. So they are highly contagious and they are spread easily from person to person. This is really important. And it's also important to remember that cold sores are not canker sores. Canker sores, I have another video on that. I'll link it here. Canker sores are not contagious, but cold sores are. I'm going to talk about some of the differences. So you're probably saying, okay, well, what exactly is a cold sore? How does it feel? A lot of my patients, they know exactly when they're getting a cold sore because they feel like pain or burning or like a little bit of tingling or itching some days before the blister forms. And often it's around the mouth, like the lip or things like that. And it can be pretty uncomfortable. And when you get cold sores, generally it's a sore. They're fluid, it forms like fluid flip. It's hard for me to say this. It forms fluid-filled blisters in the area that the sore is. There can be some redness, some inflammation, and then as the sore heals, it tends to crust over and scab. And honestly, like you can have a cold sore for a couple of weeks and you're contagious until that blister, those blisters actually scab over, okay? Usually the cluster of blisters, like sort of like the fluid-filled sacs, is in like one area. And once the whole area scabs over, crusts over, then you're not contagious, but the whole area has to heal, okay? Now, this is the thing. A lot of people have cold sores. You're probably wondering, oh my gosh, how did I get this? I'll talk about that, but let me just tell you first, I'm going to talk about treatment and stuff first because this might be why you're here. Once you get cold sores, like oral herpes, and I'll talk about the different names, but once you get it, like you can't cure it. You just need to sort of try to work to heal outbreaks and make them more comfortable. Like you can't cure the virus, you have it for life, okay? Although everybody who has it may have different symptoms. Some people may never get a cold sore, and some people may get cold sores, okay? So let's jump into treatments, and then like I said, I'll loop back and talk to you about what causes it and things like that. So one of the things that I do in my family medicine office, when people have cold sores and stuff, depending on how bad it is, where it is in the stage of healing, sometimes I prescribe antiviral medications because it's a virus that causes cold sores, okay? More about that later. So sometimes I'll prescribe what we call topical antivirals that you can put on the lesion. You can also prescribe oral antivirals if you need to, okay? Usually I'm doing like the topical ones. Sometimes I'm doing the oral ones too, actually, okay? But generally, you want to take antiviral medications as soon as you feel the cold sore coming on. That's really, really important. But there are some other things you can do too, like over the counter and at home to help the symptoms because it can be uncomfortable. It can be painful, burny, itchy, that type of thing. You can do pain relievers if your doctor says it's okay, like lidocaine, topical. You can do Tylenol, Motrin, things like that. There are other medications over the counter you can try. Also, you want to make sure you're wearing sunscreen and SPF lip balm. By the way, you want to throw out that lip balm after you finish using it, because it still may have the virus on it, which you could get it again or give it to someone else. So keep that in mind. Kind of avoid acidic foods, right? Because that could irritate the lesion, right? It can aggravate it. But you could also try like cool compresses, like ice or a cool damp washcloth. Remember though, the virus can get on the washcloth, so you don't want to share that washcloth with anyone. You got to wash your towels and things like that. Speaking of washing towels and stuff, if you have a cold sore, you need to be washing your sheets, you need to be washing your towels. You do not want to share any of that stuff. You do not want to share utensils, lip balms, lipsticks, things like that. And I even told you, you probably want to throw away the lip balm if you were using it when you had an active cold sore, okay? So let's now go back a little bit and talk about what cold sores are. They're painful blisters, right? Near the lips, inside the mouth, caused by an infection with a virus called herpes simplex virus, okay? Now, don't freak out. A lot of people are like, herpes! There's two types of herpes. Type 1, which causes most cases of cold sores, but it can cause infections in other parts of your body as well. And then HSV2, which tends to cause infections in the the genital areas, but it can cause infections in other places as well. But generally, the cold sores up here are caused by herpes simplex virus 1. We often call them like oral herpes or fever blisters or things like that. There's a number of different names. Herpes simplex labialis. I mean, just it all kind of means the same thing. And the thing about it is when it comes to like herpes simplex 1, which tends to cause a lot of the cold sores, we oftentimes get exposed to that virus even as early as childhood. We often get exposed to it very, very young. Most people catch HSV1 by the time we turn 5 years old, okay? And once it infects you, it just never leaves. It sort of remains dormant in your nerve cells, like in the face, okay? And that's when it can kind of come back and sort of reactivate at different times. And you're probably saying, well, why is it reactivating now? Why do I get reactivation of this virus? And this is the thing, something has to trigger it. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's like sunlight for some people. Sometimes it is illness or sickness. Like I said, some people never get cold sores, even though they've been exposed to the virus and have it lying dormant. But other things like hormonal changes, like your menstrual period, pregnancy, extreme temperatures can do it. There's a number of things like physical, emotional, stress, fatigue, a lot of stuff. Like the things that can stress you out can also stress your body out and cause this virus to reactivate and be like, bing, cold sore, here we go. So just sort of keep that in mind. Again, most people have been infected with this virus by the time they're very, very young. It just lies dormant and then it comes out when, you're feeling kind of punky or not your usual self. But the most important thing here is to remember that if you get a cold sore, you need to like keep it locked in. Don't spread it. That also means no oral sex, okay? Giving oral sex and things like that. Because remember, it can spread to other parts of your body. Sharing utensils, lip balm, all that kind of stuff, because it is highly contagious. So let me know if you've ever gotten a cold sore, what your experience is like. Some people get a lot of cold sores, in which case, if you get like a number of outbreaks a year, you probably want to talk to your doctor, because some people may qualify for like what we call suppressive therapy or medications to keep them from getting so many cold sores, because they can be disruptive. They can be painful. They can change the way that you look and all sorts of things. And they could just be really tough to deal with for some people, okay? As always, if you're worried about your symptoms, not sure what you have going on, you need to be seeing your doctor. That goes without saying. Just remember some of the basics here, the treatments that you can use over the counter and prescription, and that it's highly contagious. Do not be messing around with these cold sores, my friends. Let me know what experiences you have had with cold sores. Write them in the comments. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, honor health expert, and video creator. I do daily videos on literally everything. By the way, I will link that canker sore video here, and I have other videos on things you might be interested in. On Facebook, please like and follow my page. On YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. Also, please follow me on TikTok, WhatsApp, all sorts of things at Dr. Jen Caudle. Finally, you can go to my website, www.drjencaudle.com, where you can sign up for my free daily health newsletter. Let me know if this was helpful. I hope it was. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.